Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your September 2018 general readings. Thanks for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. And thank you for those of you who continue to like, share, subscribe, and follow my YouTube channel. And thanks to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. And as most of you know, if you would be interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more information and contact details by clicking on the description bar of all the videos that I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button there. You can email me directly at maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. I can usually get back to you within the same day or the first 24 hours of your initial contact. And scheduling is pretty timely too, anywhere from a few days upwards of a couple of weeks, but almost always within a couple of weeks we can set up a reading for you live or recorded. So send me an email if you're interested. I'd be happy to work with you. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. So let's move right into this. This is for the fire sign of Sagittarius for the month of September 2018. These are general readings and they always resonate a little differently for everybody watching because there's so many of you watching. The details and specifics may vary from person to person, but the energy and advice always remains the same. For additional insight, if you know your rising and your moon sign, watch those videos as well. Okay, Sagittarius, let's see what's in store for you for September 2018. Okay, we begin with the Fool, my favorite card, followed by the Eight of Wands. We have Death or Transformation, followed by the Star. We have the Nine of Wands, followed by the Magician. And we have the Hierophant, followed by the Seven of Wands. And from the bottom of the deck, for overall energy and guidance, we have the Lovers. You know, you are the last fire sign for September that I'm doing so far. I've already done Leo and Aries earlier. Something going on with the fire signs. There's a lot of, you guys have an abundance of major arcana cards in your spread. And you, Sagittarius, have the most. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards out of 9. So potentially a significant, profound month for you. There could be some significant and profound life shifts or changes or the potential for them as well. And it looks like you may be considering a significant decision of some kind or a choice of some kind. And this may be in the relationship area of your life for a lot of you, or a decision that may affect a significant relationship in your life, because your overall energy, your crowning card, which represents the overall focus of energy and guidance and advice for the month, is the Lovers, which can represent a very connective, passionate relationship. It could be a soulmate relationship, doesn't necessarily need to be. And it doesn't always mean a love and romance relationship, although when the Lovers comes up in reference to a relationship, it typically means that there's a lot of heat and passion in the relationship. But it also represents making a significant choice. In the early tarot decks, as I often explain with this card, this was called the Choice. It wasn't called the Lovers, and it showed a man standing in front of 2 women or a woman standing in front of 2 men. The implication being that a significant choice was going to have to be made, and it's significant because this is profound major arcana energy, because it was going to significantly affect the lives of a primary, very important relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or some other very connected, very passionate relationship. And it could also represent making a choice, Sagittarius, that doesn't maybe have to do specifically with love and romance, or with, it's not, the choice itself is not about the relationship. It might be a choice that you're making in another part of your life, but that may significantly affect this relationship. I sometimes see this card come up when someone's making a really significant choice or change in job, work, or career, or moving, because that of course affects the nature and energy of a primary important relationship. So it might not be about a relationship, but it looks like whatever choice or decision you're contemplating making is going to significantly or potentially affect one. And it could be the decision to get into a relationship or initiate communication with somebody, maybe somebody new or somebody from the past as well, because I am getting that. Now, we begin at the end of August, beginning of September time, always being kind of fluid, especially in general readings. We have the Fool and the Eight of Wands. So the Fool is my favorite card, favorite major arcana card in the deck. The Fool is the very first major arcana card in the deck. He has the 0 at the top of his card. The last major arcana card is the World. So we start off as the Fool, and all of the cards in between the Fool and the World are about the Fool's journey through life, which is our journey through life and how we learn and grow and evolve and change, ideally, until we get to the end on top of the World. The Fool is about the potential of a brand new journey. It's actually the breath before you take the first step of a new journey. So it's really about that time in between something coming to an end and something new beginning. And in that in-between place, it's all about possibility and potential. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. The Fool is also about doing something that might feel a little risky, that maybe you haven't done before, because the Fool is also about stepping off the beaten path. He's going on a new journey. He's forging a new path. Fools are great trailblazers. And the Fool is not so much concerned about linear paths and specific destinations. They're more about, you know, where does this path go? I want to explore what the possibility, what the potential is. And so it can be, it can represent stepping off the beaten path, stepping out of your comfort zone, doing something maybe you haven't done before, might feel like something's a bit risky. Cautionary advice with the Fool, of course, we always want to make sure there's water in the pool before we jump. Now, it's clarified by the Eight of Wands, which is a card about communication. And we live in such a technologically savvy world today. Communication takes many forms, a lot of them electronic, you know, text, email, there's phone, you know, video like we're doing now, as well as face-to-face. So the Eight of Wands is about communication, powerful, profound communication. It can sometimes represent communication being on its way, because the wands represent the communication and they have left their point of origin but haven't quite reached their destination yet. So it could be waiting for communication or waiting to extend communication. Now, because there's a lot of relationship energy, so I feel like for a lot of you it's focused around or about a relationship of some kind. But again, for some of you, you know, not everybody, tuned into these readings because they're in a relationship or want to hear a reading about relationships too. I know that can get kind of frustrating for some of you who, like, I don't want to hear, I want to hear about this other stuff. Career, work, and finance, this could also be maybe you are in a you currently have a job. You might be talking with recruiters or somebody else about leaving your current job, and you may not want that known. You may feel a little nervous about that. You may be thinking of stepping off the beaten path into a different career path or a different type of job, or considering taking something of a different possibility. Some of you might be considering moving or relocating as well, and it's maybe a bit nerve-wracking, even though it's kind of exciting as well. But remember, the overall energy is this Lover's card, making a significant choice that for some of you may be about a relationship, or it may be about another part of your life, and this decision will affect a significant or primary relationship in your life as well. Here is what I'm getting for some of you quite strongly. I feel like the Fool and the Eight of Wands is this, this energy here. Some of you are considering or beginning communication with somebody that may be different than you've ever maybe communicated with or dated before, reached out to, or gone out with before, or started a relationship with. But because it's communication, it's communication. You might be reaching out to communicate them with for the first time, or you may be the one reaching out to tell somebody to communicate with somebody, and that's not your usual, mode of operating. Some of you, I feel like you are in the love and romance area, reaching out, beginning to communicate or date or have that initial exchange with somebody that's very different than you normally would have, expressed interest in or communicated with or gone out with before. It could be somebody new. For some of you, I also feel like There is communication starting up with someone from your past. It could be somebody that you had a relationship with before and you broke up for whatever reasons. And I feel like, because I feel like this decision and choice has to do with communication. Now, some of you, because of how it was originally portrayed in the early tarot decks, it's not to say that some of you are choosing between two people, or somebody's choosing between you and somebody else. That might be for some of you. It could always be. Some of you, I feel, may be in a relationship already, and you're actually starting a communication or communicating with somebody else, also of the love and romance nature. So be kind of careful, you know, like that sort of, I'm getting a bit of cheating energy here. So be careful with that, because karma, you know, tends to cycle around. That's just kind of how it works. So yeah, cautionary advice there. Some of you, I feel, may be starting to communicate with somebody, or even looking for somebody online, and maybe you don't want to tell other people about it. It's the first time you've ever done something like that, or it's just kind of a new experience for you, because I'm getting that whoever it is you're reaching out to communicate with in the relationship arena, there's something different about it. And it may be like going against your family, somebody that they don't approve of, or somebody outside of your religion or ethnic race or age group or something like that, because I feel like you may be kind of bucking the system or going against convention to do this. But it feels like there's a new beginning, like something major has ended in your life, and you're kind of in that in-between place and starting to explore something new. Because we also have death and the star. Significant energy here around the second week or so. Because death represents a major ending. And typically when death shows up, it usually represents that what's ending has been there for quite some time. So it's something old, something that's been there for a while. It could be, you know, a relationship that's ended, or a marriage that's ended, or a job or career path that's ended for some of you. A way of life, a way of thinking, a belief system for some of you too, especially if you're starting communication with somebody, or breaking out of a way of dating, or who you're dating or communicating with or having a relationship with, because you're leaving an old way of life behind, literally. Because death is about picking up the pieces, starting over again. Something has come to an end and needed to come to an end. Now, it's clarified by the star, which is, you have, Sagittarius, you have both my favorite major arcana cards in your spread, the Fool and the Star. I love them both. The Star is a card of renewed hope, faith, and optimism. It's a card about walking in faith and trusting, walking in faith, which can be very difficult to do in, you know, the world we live in today, which is about concrete, practical things, and you know, things that often things don't last. The general attitude in the world today is things not lasting long, relationships not lasting long, jobs not lasting long. The star represents walking in faith, which can be difficult to do in the world that we live in. And it's renewed hope, faith, and optimism, because I usually see this card come up after a period of darkness or challenge or pain of some kind. And because it clarifies death, we already know that something major has come to an end in your life, and you are starting over again. I mean, you've got, you know, this ending, and then the Fool, which is about starting over again, but in a completely different way. The star is the star. It's the light shining through the darkness that lights the way. It's about devoting yourself completely, even if you can't really see where you're going, and trusting in divine timing and orchestration. That's why this woman is on her knees, emptying her pitchers of water out into this reservoir of water that she's kneeling in. She's not holding anything back, you know, oh, maybe I should hold some water back. Maybe I'll need it at mile 2 or mile 5. No, she's dedicating herself completely. She's starting over again. She's throwing herself in it completely, maybe something new, something different. And she's trusting in divine timing and orchestration, because there is some sense of renewed hope, faith, and optimism. Something big, something major has come to an end. You're picking up the pieces. You're starting over again. You're not maybe sure where you're going. It may feel a little scary. This is all new. Push through this. It's a wonderful energy. Now, next to that, we have the Nine of Wands and the Magician. So maybe around the middle of the month, maybe around the 3rd week of the month, you might feel a little discouraged, maybe a little bit depressed or discouraged. The Nine of Wands is the 11th hour card. It's darkest before dawn, as I always call this card, because 10s represent completion and cycles ending. So 9s represent being very close to something ending, or being very close to something transitioning into something else, which is what I feel it is for you. The group of wands that he's run into represents, you know, and perhaps maybe an unexpected delay, block, challenge. And this soldier is tired. He's a soldier, and what do soldiers do? They fight battles. That's what they do. He's fought a lot of battles. He's tired. He wants to be done. He's very close to being done. Maybe he can't see that because of this obstacle, but it's right around the corner, which is why we can't ever see it, because it's right around the corner. But the 9 says you're closer than you think. You're almost there. Keep pushing through. So that's what the accompanying advice to the 9 of Wands always is. Push through. You're so close. You're so close to being there. It might be for some of you that whatever has ended, there might be some last little thing that needs to be gotten through, particularly if it's something like a divorce or something else, you know, that's come to a major end. It might be just a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done, something of that sort. And in terms of starting over again, you're definitely starting something new, maybe something different, maybe something you've never done before, or someone you've never gone out with before, communicated with. There's this newness about it. You may have run into like a little bit of a snag or something, and you're feeling like, oh, it's going to be like everything else. Don't give in to any discouragement or depression you might feel or feel like giving up. Don't, because the 9 of Wands is also, I mean, it's always a card about pushing through, but it's that message is strongly underscored by the clarifying card, which is the Magician, another major arcana card. The Magician says you have everything that you need to manifest whatever it is that you want into reality, because that's what the Magician does. He's walked a long road himself as well. He's worked very hard to get to where he's at. You can see that he's juggling each of the primary symbols for each of the 4 tarot. So he has mastered those, and he's mastered those because he's walked a long path and he's learned trial and error, success, failure, triumph, and defeat. And he's reached a point now where he has complete and total control. He's the Magician. He can manifest whatever he wants. This is about having the tools, the wisdom, the knowledge, the experience to take your internal knowledge and experience and will and determination and manifest them externally to manifest what you want into reality. It's a beautiful, very independent, powerful card. So push through. You have what it takes. Now, at the end of the month, at or towards the end of the month, we have the Hierophant with the 7 of Wands. And here's where I feel like some of you, with whatever this new thing is, whether it's dating somebody new that maybe is completely different, or going back to starting up communication with someone that from the past, or doing something that maybe other people might view as like, what are you doing? You may be like bucking the system or going against convention and feeling kind of defensive about it, maybe at or towards the end of September 2018, because the Hierophant is a major arcana card. The Hierophant's all about convention, tradition, going along with what everybody else does, maybe your roots of origin, religion, tradition, businesses, organized religions, large corporations, businesses, you know, the status quo. Neither good nor bad. There's a certain amount of self-sacrifice, a certain sacrifice of individuality and self-expression with the Hierophant, but it also means that the benefit of the energy of going along with the energy of the Hierophant is that you belong to a group of people who are all doing the same thing, so you're kind of under the shelter of that umbrella. But it can represent culture and identity as well. Now it's clarified by the 7 of Wands, which is a card about its defensive energy, standing by something you strongly believe in and have a lot invested in. You know, and this can work both ways, either way for those of you watching. For some of you, whatever this new beginning is, or something new that you're starting, whether it's in job, work, or career, whether it's affecting your primary relationship, whether it's about a relationship, whether it's about starting a new relationship or going back to a relationship, starting up new communication. It could be that, you know, this energy is about maybe you're wanting to hold on to something that has been there for a long time, or a certain way of life or cultural tradition of some kind, or that your family is. Some of you it may be that, but some of you it may be that this new thing you're doing goes against what other people's opinions of, you know, maybe thinking you should be doing, or what you grew up with, or what your family thinks, or what your job thinks, or what your friends think. So this new thing you may be doing that feels new and different and maybe risky, excuse me, you may be kind of having to buck the system and go against, you know, the status quo in order to do this. So it's going to weigh out differently for some of you than it is for others of you. And it's about making this decision, I think, as to, you know, stay with the old, go with the new, let go, move on. There's this lovely energy about pushing through. And having a renewed sense of hope, faith, and optimism. And again, I'm getting an almost even balance that for some of you it's going to be holding on, and for others of you it's going to be letting go. And I feel like those of you who know are going to know. Be careful for those of you. I am getting that for some of you. There's this sense of making a decision between two people, but one of them you're already in a relationship with, and you're talking with somebody else, and it's kind of a behind the back thing. Be careful with that, because you know it always has the potential to hurt people, and you know karmic energy does, you know, it goes in a circle, in a cycle, so be careful with that. So Sagittarius, that pretty much wraps up your September 2018 general readings. I hope that you found it helpful. Again, if you're interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, I would be delighted to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as we can. You can get more information and contact details by clicking on the description bar of the videos I post, or going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button. I do readings in love and romance, reconciliation, compatibility, charting, career, work, and finance, investment. I do 6 and 12-month overviews as well to take a look at what's coming in your life for the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look in all the main areas of your life. I do gift readings, and also I do focused channeled messages from passed on loved ones as well. So send me an email if you like, and we'll set something up for you. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy for quick answers to some of the easier, faster questions. So I will see you all again, Sagittarius, in a couple of weeks for the September 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.